crisis team, please do not join the crisis staff only room. And this goes um, for the staff room for chairs and staff room for secretariats as well. And I know that a lot of you guys might have some trouble with Zoom because it can be pretty difficult. So if you have any difficulties, feel free to reach out to any of the chairs or any of the secretariats. That's it, and thank you.
Thank you so much, Naho. Before we move on, do any other members of the Secretariat have other announcements? Seeing none, we're moving on to Mihur, one of our co-secretaries general. So as all of you know, IOMUN is lucky to have not just one, but two amazing secretaries general. We will have opening remarks from Mihur, now in the opening ceremony, and then closing remarks from Naho in the closing ceremony. Mihir, the floor is now yours.
I am so happy to welcome delegates from all over the world into IOMUN 7. With many of our committees, ideas from all over the world are culminating in these groups, and I'm so proud to see where your research come to culmination. The Secretariat and myself are excited for debate in these upcoming sessions, and we hope to see good research and strong points prevail in the next hours and in the next day. We'll be talking about and honoring this through the chairs and from the back room and from the front room. And we're very excited to see what happens next. In these next couple of days, I wish you all the best and hope you have the most fun time here at IOMUN 7. We've held this conference for a long time, and we believe this is the best iteration of ourselves. Make sure to have fun and move on forward. Good luck, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mihir, for these touching words. Now we'll have opening remarks from Daniel Gindis, the director of WiseMe and the co-founder of IOMUN. Daniel, please, the floor is now yours.
Thank you very, very much. One of the things that I find really special about a conference like IOMUN is the innovation and the friendships that came together to create it. In the beginning, when Model UN first went online, there was a huge feeling of we need to try to recreate and recapture what it is that we love so much about MUN in person. And I think that the growth really started to shift around IOMUN 2.3. So for all of our participants, this is the 7th online, international online MUN. The Secretariat are friends of people who have met at this conference who decided not to let virus and social distancing get in the way. There has been innovation and utilizing of the internet, not just to create teams of inspired and excellent MUNers from all over the world, but also to really remake MUN in a way that is suitable to the online format. And in this conference, it culminates in Mooncraft Beta, like combining MUN and Minecraft. I'm really, really excited to see how that's going to go. And with all the other committees, it's really an opportunity, a really unique one, to be able to do Model UN with MUN professionals, with delegates from around the world. It would cost you like flight tickets, hostels, and a free enough schedule to be able to meet them otherwise. And that such friendships can be created and such an environment can be developed is really, really special. So for me, as the director of IOMUN, running it from the back end and making sure that things work, I have to say that this conference really was curated by an excellent, loving, and devoted team who are not only great MUNers but also like good friends and team to each other. I think you will see that throughout the conference, and I want to wish everyone a really, really excellent Model UN experience. Have a great IOMUN 7, everyone.
Thank you so much, Daniel, for this very touching and important reflection. Next up, we have our guest speaker, Ambassador Cynthia P. Schneider. Dr. Cynthia P. Schneider teaches, publishes, and speaks about the importance of culture in diplomacy and international affairs, while putting these ideas into practice everywhere from war zones to Hollywood writers' rooms. As US ambassador to the Netherlands, she led initiatives in public and cultural diplomacy, biotechnology, cybersecurity, and military relationships and sales. At Georgetown, Professor Schneider teaches in the School of Foreign Service and co-directs the Laboratory for Global Performance and Politics, an interdisciplinary initiative with the goal of humanizing global politics through the power of performance. From 1984 to 2004, she taught art history at Georgetown and wrote books and organized museum exhibitions on Rembrandt and 17th century Dutch art. Dr. Schneider co-directs the Timbuktu Renaissance, a Mali-based platform for countering extremism and building peace and sustainable development through a focus on culture, which grew out of her work leading the Arts and Culture Dialogue Initiative at the Brookings Institution Center for Middle East Policy. She also co-directs the Los Angeles-based Muslims on Screen and Television Most resource, which works with TV and film writers and producers to develop authentic and nuanced characters and plots involving Muslims and Muslim-majority regions. Professor Schneider has published on current issues in popular and policy outlets, such as USA Today, Los Angeles Times, CNN, Foreign Policy, Business Insider, Huffington Post, among others, and has spoken around the world on topics involving foreign policy and politics and culture, including at TED. Her current book in progress is titled Culture on the Front Lines, 21st Century Diplomacy. Ambassador Schneider has a Bachelor of Arts and a Doctorate of Philosophy from Harvard University. Dr. Schneider, thank you so much for coming, and I will stop sharing my screen so you can share yours. Thank you, Dr. Schneider, the floor is now yours.
Thank you so much, Alonso, and all of the co-secretary generals. I think this is a model that perhaps the actual UN might think of adopting. Maybe somehow there might be a woman in charge eventually if they would. I want to thank you all for inviting me to join you today. It's a real honor for me. It's so exciting to think that I am talking with, and I do think it's with, not to, all of these young people all over the world interested in international relations. Now, I'm going to be speaking from a, whoops, I'm just going to try to advance here. Yeah, I'm going to be speaking from an American perspective, but I hope it will also be a kind of global perspective. But I really welcome your comments and questions from your own perspectives. And I'm going to warn you, I'm going to try to shake things up a little bit. I'm going to try to get you to maybe look at the world in a slightly different way or from a different lens than you might have been taught to do. And this is going to be through a focus on culture. And let's begin with Afghanistan. I'm showing you here images representing two things that took place 2 years ago, just about 2 years ago today, both kind of seminal events in Afghanistan. On the left, you see Zahra Elam. She was the first female winner of the extremely popular television program, Afghan Star. Afghan Star, as you might guess, is modeled after American Idol, as many, many programs around the world are. And I think that this program both reflects and really demonstrates changes in Afghan society and actually realizes them in real life, because Afghan Star is a lot more than just a singing contest. Afghan Star is a meritocracy. That's a very rare thing, I'm sorry to say, in Afghanistan. And by that, I mean, in Afghan Star, which works very much the way American Idol does, the independent television show that entity that produces it, Moby Media, part of the thriving independent media sector in Afghanistan. They go around the country, people try out, from their communities, and gradually you move up to the finals. The winners are chosen by voting, but the winners succeed not by their family connections or their ethnic connections or the money their family has. They succeed purely on their own talent. And that is, as I said, a rare thing in Afghanistan and in many parts of the world. It's an interesting thing to contemplate. What if the United States and other countries who promote democracy had focused on meritocracy more than pure democracy, which sometimes falsely can be translated into voting, which, as I'm sure you know, doesn't mean democracy. Meritocracy means real societal change. And Afghan Star shows that to you. A third of the country votes in the finals. This show has brought Afghan music back to life. As you remember, the Taliban banned music altogether in the 1990s. Music is incredibly important in Afghanistan. They tell their stories through music. People grow up knowing the same songs. In Afghan Star, they sing all Afghan music. It's not American at all. So you have a third of the country watching the finals, voting in the finals. And this year, for the very first time, they voted a woman the winner. This is an 18-year-old young woman from the Hazara minority who lives in a Taliban-controlled province. So, what does that say about that country and where that country is at that time? At the very same moment, the United States government began negotiations with the people you see on the right, all male representatives of a terrorist group. And after years and years of fighting in Afghanistan, how does the United States choose to end that conflict? By negotiating with terrorists, not even including the Afghan government. And what were we negotiating? We were negotiating, and tell me, please, someone, why we should trust a terrorist group to deliver